It's been a disastrous week for Tottenham Hotspur's football club. A loss to the North London rivals, a loss to Manchester City. Antonio Conte's contract is up for debate. And we go again. Fulham at Craven Cottage tomorrow. Let's get the preview on the road. Good afternoon and welcome to Paxton Road TV and a preview show for Fulham versus Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock kickoff at Craven Cottage. Joining me to discuss and preview the game will be my two partners in crime, Mr. Sam Spurs for Life and Mr. Hotspur Hurley. Good afternoon, boys. How are we? I know what you're going to say, but how's your week been? How are you feeling? Sean?
Yeah, I'm glad you said someone first because I wasn't going to talk.
Let's say it's been a very trying week, not least because I never like losing to Arsenal. I never like having to acknowledge that they were the better team, which they were, clearly were. And then to compound it with the topsy-turvy performance on Thursday, which thankfully I was out and didn't actually see live, because I think I might have just put my foot through a telly, it's been a tough week. And then the speculation about Conte, and even more importantly, you didn't mention the fact that our sporting director has been banned for 2.5 years from doing his job in Italy. So, and it may be extended beyond Italy to the rest of FIFA and UEFA. So we've had a week from hell.
Yeah. Sam, apart from the most obvious and apart from what Sean's just said, how's your week been?
Yeah, but as I said, you got to look at life in general when these sort of things happen with Spurs, because if you just focus on Spurs, you are not going to be happy. I wouldn't have been happy from obviously the defeat against them lot. And then to see what happened in that game against Manchester City, it just shows you where we're at. It shows you where our mentality's at, the fragility of the players, the fragility of the manager. Everything seems to be very fragile, and it's coming to almost like a breaking point. And for me, we've seen this before. Are we going to go through this cycle again? We need to, as I keep saying, we need to collectively, as the club, needs to get some sort of vision and tell us what's happening. Tell us this is what we want. This is our plans, because there's too many disconnects between what we're hearing that Conte wants and what Daniel Levy might want in terms of players to bring in, and we can't have this. So, yeah, I'm focusing on my holiday coming up.
Good. This morning, I was just on a certain website that buys and sells a lot of stuff. And apparently this morning, they've had an influx of orders for a certain type of sticker, which I can't understand. And now it makes sense. Fragile, handle with care. Tottenham Hotspur have bought a lot of them stickers. And apparently the players are going to be wearing them tomorrow. Fragile, handle with care. So someone's made a lot of money out of that. But anyway, right. So before we go into tomorrow's game, I just want to pick up on, obviously, the loss to Arsenal, the loss to Manchester City, and the way we lost to Manchester City. And what's going on with what you just said with PRTV, with Conte, with Daniel Levy. Put yourself now in the feet or in the shoes of the players. What is the mood and what is the confidence now going to be like in that lodge, in that dressing room ahead of tomorrow's game? What are the players going to be feeling? Are they going to be bothered? Are they going to still show heart? Or is it just a matter of, oh, well, shit's hit the fan. He's not bothered. He's leaving. We're just going to turn up and play the game, win, lose or draw. Sean, what's your thoughts on that now going into tomorrow's game? What's the mood going to be like?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to predict, as Tottenham are very difficult to predict this season. My feeling is that the senior players are pretty sick of the fact that so many of them, their colleagues are letting them down. I mean, I've seen the meme 100 times where Harry Kane looks away when they score the third goal, shaking his head. He must feel like he's in a horror show at the moment. But if you're a professional, if you're paid good money to play the game, you should want the next game to come along and put right what went wrong in the previous game. Now, as I say, I didn't watch the City game. I think I was still down in the dumps about the previous game against Arsenal. So who knows? I mean, we look better with Bentancur back. We look better with Kulusevski back. We're much more the team that, managed to get us into fourth place. But we now know that we were exceeding, we were playing above capacity to get there. It's quite clear. We haven't refreshed enough. I think there's been a major mistake by Daniel Levy, because he's clearly the one who pushed for the Jed Spence signature. And, Conte doesn't want him, and didn't want him. And I think we're at a cusp here, a cusp of who knows what. If we were to lose tomorrow, and it's not beyond the possibility, I think Fulham's home record is pretty good. I don't know. Everything's up in the air. Everything's up in the air.
Yeah. Sam, I'm gonna rephrase that question for you. You're a player now for Tottenham Hotspur, going into that dressing room tomorrow at the Fulham game. Your confidence is going to be low, right? Who are you looking at in that changing room now, or the dressing room, to give you that vote of confidence, to gear you on, to put that oomph back into you? Where are you looking, or who are you looking at?
Well, firstly, I don't know how. Okay, I'll start again. It's down to the manager to instill confidence in players. Every game, they should be up for it. What I'm saying is we're fragile. Sean's touched on it. It's like we are mentally in a place where the fragility of us, if things don't go quite right, like we saw in the City game, mistakes led to a goal again, and other mistakes led to the goals. And it's like that fragileness. How can we go from being 2-0 up, not deservedly being 2-0 up? I don't think we played well enough in that first half to do that, but we were 2-0 up at Etihad, knowing the record that we've had. You expect us to then go on and at least keep a clean sheet for 5-10 minutes. We couldn't even do that. So it shows me the mentality of these players are so fragile that any little thing like that is going to put us on the back foot. We haven't got enough players who are playing in form. That's down to the manager as well now, not to play certain players. We talked about some before. So when you look around the dressing room, if you're in there, you're thinking to yourself, as Harry Kane, if I'm Harry Kane, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm looking at my goalkeeper thinking, that guy's captain there. He's won a World Cup. He's been in a final, but he makes too many mistakes. He don't look confident. He doesn't instill confidence in me. And if your keeper's your captain and he's the back line, you see it go through the whole of the spine, through the defense, through everything. So when we lose that first goal, a collective this. The third goal goes enough that, and Harry Kane in his right. He's doing his job. So when he has a bad game, we focus on that. But our defenders and our goalkeeper are having game after game where it's mistakes leading to goals. That's the problem. That's the problem.
That is the problem. Now, the thing is, we haven't got a leader. We've got a captain who's not a leader. And I've said this many times before. Captain is there to take responsibility, tell players what to do, give players confidence, control the players. If someone's out of their depth or out of position, whatever, shout at them. You've been to games, I've been to games, and I never ever see your captain do that, right? We're lacking that leadership in our team. Now, he's our captain. He shouldn't be our captain, in my opinion. Do you think now either Kane, Højbjerg, even Romero, somebody now needs to step up and take that responsibility and say, do you know what, mate? I'm sorry, you're captain on the pitch. Fair enough. Wear that captain's armband, but we're going to start doing the dictating and we're going to start shouting at players. One of us needs to take that responsibility because, like you both touched on it, at the moment, there isn't one single player. Højbjerg does it every now and then just to gear the fans up, and then it gets quiet again. Harry Kane, who's captain of England, like we seen the other day when the going gets tough, he obviously wasn't happy with it, so he's shaking his head or whatever. However, the flip side to that is, okay, you've just conceded the goal, you're shaking your head, but then shouldn't you be like going, come on, guys, come on, let's get it up again. We were 2-0 up, we're 3-2 down now, let's try and get that goal back. Yeah, all right, you're shaking your head or whatever because you're disgusted by your keeper, but then the flip side, like I said, is you've got to then encourage your players to carry on. We haven't got none of that. And I don't know how you guys feel, but if there's one game now that I don't want on a Monday evening after we've just lost 2 games on the trot, is against an informed Fulham at Craven Cottage, because they are going to give us a game, and we'll look into the meetings and everything like that. But do you think this is a game we could have done without, or is every game now a game that we should be going without? Sam?
No, you got to play. You see the fixtures. We know what the games are coming. It's all about how they play and how they perform. Like, football's weird. Football, we've seen it before. Teams can go into games where you're thinking, oh, we're going to get battered here. You're going into the game thinking, oh, we're going to have it, and then we'll win. You go into games feeling really confident. We've won 5 games on the trot, and you lose. Football does that. It's just a leveler. So at the moment, we're not playing well enough. So we have no confidence to go into games thinking, even if we're playing well, that we can win. When that happens, it's difficult to even see how they can get results. If you're playing well and lose a game because it's just one of them things that happen, you can kind of say, well, the next game, let's see if they put it right. That bounce back ability sort of thing. But when we've seen the results that we've seen and the mistakes that we've seen that leads to goals, that leads to losses, that leads to loss of confidence every single week, and compound that with seeing that we haven't really played that well, add to the fact that Conte seems to be really stubborn, players that he clearly didn't want at the club, it's a mixture of like, well, where is the light? There is no light in that. So you just got to hope for the best on the day. You hope that he picks the right team. You hope that the players have got some form. You hope that we don't make mistakes that lead to goals. You have some of that. We've got good enough players to win games. But when you just have a little bit of we open that, we're spinning plates. We're spinning plates at the moment, and we can't keep them all spinning. And we need to just go into this game and get a win. Draw's no good to us, but I just fear that it's the mentality which is the biggest issue at the moment for this club and players and manager and everybody associated with Spurs. Confidence.
Sure. We were just chatting just before we came on air, weren't we, Sean, about yesterday's results and how certain teams like Brighton drew, Liverpool, Chelsea drew, Newcastle drew. So going into tomorrow's game, if we win, that's a massive boost and a massive morale booster for the players going into not next week, the week after. Again, we've got Man City, but would that be a massive boost to Spurs as a club and as a team if we were to win tomorrow? Sean? Mike, can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Right.
I think it's been one hell of an inconsistent season. If you think about it, take Southampton. Southampton absolutely blew Man City away in that Carabao Cup match. Yet yesterday they lost at home to Aston Villa.
Yeah,
there is such inconsistencies. Manchester United were playing pretty well, but they didn't beat Crystal Palace the other night, and we beat Crystal Palace 4-0. It is just one hell of a topsy-turvy season. And, until... even now, we're still 5th, I believe, before today's games. It's bonkers. I mean, those first 10 games where we racked up a record number of points are keeping us where, in this position. And it's really a case of you've got to turn the form round. And even if it's a lucky 1-0 win tomorrow night, it can have such a major effect on morale, on confidence, and perhaps, do something about the fragility that Sam has quite rightly pointed out.
Yeah, I agree. Right, so let's move on to the actual preview. Just like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon on a nice, chilly, sunny afternoon, the great British weather. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. As always, please like, subscribe, and smash that like button. Follow our channel because we'll always be bringing content, win, lose, or draw. whether we're smiling, whether we're laughing or crying, which I think is the latter at the moment, we'll be there always. Right, let's get on with this then.
Let's get on with this because, as I said, we've been here before. This is not new to us as Tottenham Hotspur fans, so we know how this kind of plays out. We all get on the Spurs' case and they go and turn around and get a result. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm just saying this is where we're at. So even if we don't get the result tomorrow, I still feel we're good enough and we're in enough shape, provided we don't get nuts, to still be in that top four. I still think we're confident of that top four at least.
I agree. And as Aswad said, just turn around. I don't want to see my heart breaking. Just turn around. I don't want to see myself crying. Don't walk away. Right. So, Craven Cottage, Fulham versus Tottenham Hotspur. And as we look at the league table, Arsenal at the top, played 18, 47 points. Manchester City played 19, 42 points. Newcastle played 20, 39 points. Manchester United played 19, 39 points. Then Tottenham Hotspurs played 20, 33 points, followed by Brighton, 19, 31. And Fulham played 20, 31 points. So tomorrow's game is really important because if we win, we can potentially, it could be 6 points or it could be 9 points, depending on what Man United and Arsenal do today. If we beat Fulham, we go 5 points clear of them. So it is a big game. It is a big game in terms of that. And plus, we go 5 clear of Brighton as well. So we're putting a little bit of space into that.
Sid, just looking at that table then, is it that Liverpool and Chelsea have both played a game extra because you haven't got the draw on there from yesterday? So I'm assuming that that's Liverpool have played 19 now.
Yeah,
Chelsea
let me just...
20.
It's
important because the reason I'm mentioning about that is because we still need to be looking over our shoulder because at any given time, Liverpool and Chelsea could hit some sort of form. The way that they're playing, they're like us, you know, in terms of just unpredictable. But Liverpool have got more about them mentally wise because we've seen it before. Yeah. Chelsea have as well because they've won things. So we should be concerned that at some point, one of them two teams could hit a little bit of form, 2 or 3 games on a trot, and then they're in the mix as well. Yeah, we just got to win our games, man.
This is it.
Fulham's got to be big. It's a win tomorrow. Got to win tomorrow.
Yes, Sam, you're right. Brentford have got 30 points in 8th. Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool have got 29 points. Yeah. So all them 3 teams just add a point onto there. So yeah, so it's 30, 29, 29. So theoretically, we need that win tomorrow. We win that game tomorrow, then we're sort of back in the mix. But we're not fully in the mix. We're blending on speed 1. We're not fully blending yet. Yeah.
To me, if we win that game tomorrow, and we get, let's say, another positive result game afterwards, I think it's the top 4 race battle between us, Newcastle, Manchester United for the rest of those places. Yeah. Given the fact that Liverpool and Chelsea, as I've probably contradicted myself a little bit saying they could have runs, but given that fact, it just gives that confidence that we're looking up as opposed to looking down because of our results. I'm looking over my shoulder thinking if them two get a bit of form on, even Brighton, they can keep the results going. Sticky, man.
It is sticky. And if you look at that table there as it is now, right? Look at all the wins and losses. We have lost the most games in the last 5. Yeah. Even Fulham have only lost 1. Brighton have lost 1. Brentford haven't lost a game. And we've lost 5. We've lost 3. So, you know, it's a bit like Sean said, it's a topsy-turvy season. And we've just got to do what we have to do. Right. Form guy. So, Fulham lost to Newcastle. We lost to Manchester City. They beat Chelsea. We lost to Arsenal. They beat Leicester. We beat Crystal Palace. They beat Southampton. We lost to Aston Villa. They beat Crystal Palace. We drew to Brentford. Sean, does the form guide, does that mean anything going into tomorrow's game? Or is it like you've said, what Sam have said, it's one of them seasons, anyone can beat anyone. Like you said, we beat Palace 4-0, but Man United only managed to draw with them. So does the form guide mean anything?
When you go head to head, I think it would make them slight favourites. Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, look at their results. Beating Chelsea at home was a big result for them. and they've comfortably won the other games. They've only had the 1-0 loss, which was a last-minute goal, I believe, against Newcastle.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think they must be slight favourites in current form. We are in a funk. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's that there's too many red dots on our side of the page there.
That's what I said.
I just think somehow we've got to try and recover some of the panache we showed in the second half against Palace. I'm hoping that there'll be some changes in the formation. The players who are currently not in form are given a rest. But Conte, he's nothing but stubborn.
Yes. Sam, you're going to look at the next slide because I know you like the next slide. Not a lot, but just a little. Right. Season so far. They are 7th. We are 5th. 9 wins to them, 10 to Tottenham. 4 draws to them, 3 to us. Both lost 7 games each. This is the bit you like, Sam. Average goals scored per game, 1.6 to Fulham. We've scored 1.95. Average goals conceded, 1.45 to 1.55. 5 clean sheets. Talk to me about this season so far and your average goals per match and conceded per match.
Yeah, firstly, you look at the 2 records and you think to yourself, pretty close, pretty similar, which we are in the league, pretty close in terms of the stats there, blah, 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 blah. Now, what it also tells me, do we believe that the Fulham squad is as good as the Tottenham squad? I don't believe it is.
No.
Then you look at is the Fulham manager better than the current manager at Tottenham Hotspur? On paper, it doesn't seem it is. But Marco Silva is an excellent coach and tactician. My concern is that he's going to tactically outsmart us tomorrow because of Conte's stubbornness. And because of that, we need to just think and hope that the players themselves want to dig ourselves out of trouble, because I don't think the formation and how we set up is going to aid us in any way. And I believe that Marco Silva will set up in a way that he will get the best out of the players that he's got, because he must be getting the best out of the players he's got. They haven't been in the league that long. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at that thinking the manager's doing something. Our manager needs to do something. Like I said, there's a collective at Spurs, but they ain't created that many, even in the last, looking at their results before, they've scored a few goals. So their average goals has only just started to creep up. So they're a team that plays within themselves. They have to play a certain way, which means they have to tactically set up to be able to beat us or to at least stop us from playing. And this is my concern. They've watched and seen every single team this season. I'll just put some in midfield. They were going to play a 3-4-3. We'll just flood the midfield. We'll do more than them. We'll work harder than them, and they won't be able to do anything. Score the first goal, lad. This lot are done.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that's correct. So it's down to them players tomorrow, mate.
They've got.
I was going to say, Sid, the most interesting stat to me there is average goals scored. That's the first time I've seen us below 2.
This
season. Yeah, this season, definitely.
Yeah. So we're not scoring as many.
Yeah.
And we're conceding a lot.
We're conceding a hell of a lot. Yeah. And I think what you were saying, Sam, as well, is they've got players and they've got a manager, right, that it will suit a system, and they'll play that system. They play as a team, and they've got certain players that on their day. Because remember, against Newcastle, they should have won that game because they had that penalty disallowed because he double tapped it. And then Newcastle went and scored in the last minute. So they frustrated the hell out of Newcastle United. I know they don't concede many goals, Newcastle, but, they do score a fair few, but they haven't recently. But they gave them a very good run for their money. So it's going to be an interesting game, like you both said. We'll talk about where it's going to be won and lost. But let's have a look. Head-to-head then. Recent meetings. Spurs 2, Fulham 1. At our stadium.
Oh my God, look at this.
Fulham 0, Spurs 1. Spurs 1, Fulham 1. Fulham 1, Spurs 2. Spurs 3, Fulham 1.
What a bloody thing to put up, Sid. Jesus Christ.
Listen, it is what it is. So
no, man. We did this a few days ago with City. We did the same thing.
I'm not making this up, right? This is just a recent meeting against Man City. It was what it was. But again, looking at that, we're unbeaten at Craven Cottage in the last 2 fixtures. In
We've
fact,
not lost to them in the last 5 games. We ain't
in the
lost to
last
them.
5 games.
We've won 4.
Yes, and drawn 1.
Drawn 1.
And
I
wasn't
remember that. I remember that 1-0 away at Craven Cottage. Dele Alli scored.
Yeah. And Sam, wasn't that the
Oh.
same? Wasn't this the same kind of results with Man City? 1-4.
It was exactly the
drawn
same. 1-4, drawn 1.
Right. So, my question to you first, Sam, then, looking at the recent meetings, who do you put favourites?
Okay, the bookmakers, they're not stupid. They will make Fulham have to be favourites tomorrow. Going into this game, if they're home form or home record, I don't know what it is exactly, but if it is a good record, we're not doing very well on the road. Or apart from that 4-0 against Crystal Palace, which in a sense is almost like a freak result now, because it wasn't a 4-0 if we think about it. But we were better away from home than we were at home. I hope tomorrow the London derby thing kicks in, but no, Sid, I don't look at that and think, I think to myself, we just have to play this game and hope the players turn up, manager turn up, and we get a result, mate.
Agree. Sam? Sean?
Yeah, means nothing. Honestly, recent meetings means nothing. Actually, our home performance at the beginning of the season was one of our better performances. I remember Fulham got a very late goal and very nearly sneaked an equaliser, but Lloris made a fantastic save right at the end. So again, it means nothing. That's like another century away. That was just earlier this season.
So basically, what you're saying, this means nothing to me or Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, then.
I'm numb. I'm still numb from last Sunday, let alone Thursday.
Right. Let's move on to the head-to-head. Played 31 games. Tottenham have won 17.
Yeah.
Fulham have won 7. Fulham have won 5 at home. We've won 10 at home. They've won 2 away. We've won 7 away and 7 draws. So again, going back to the last slide, where we haven't lost away at Craven Cottage and we haven't lost a game in 5 to them. Our away record at Craven Cottage is not bad at all. 7 away wins, and they've only won 5 at home to us. So again, if you're a neutral and you're looking at these stats, you're probably thinking, well, going into this game, I would say Tottenham would be slightly favourites because they've not lost in 5.
Let me try and dispel this thing. Right, these records are really good. The record before, the 5 results against them, 4 wins and a draw. With this head-to-head, you're thinking that's fantastic. That's only good when you're going into this game confident having won, because you can use this. You say, lads, we're confident and this lot can't beat us. They've never beaten us, blah, 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 blah. You use that. Yeah. When you're the opposite of what we are, this means, as Sean said, absolutely nothing, because we ain't got no confidence. We ain't got the actual form going into the game. So looking at that, you're just thinking to yourself, bloody hell, we just got to get a result here. And we could, because we're Tottenham Hotspur, and we should be getting results against Fulham away. We should be, but we're not.
Agreed.
No offense, Fulham are a smaller team and we should be beating them, but
exactly.
It means, as Sam has alluded there, it means nothing with the current form of Tottenham Hotspur. The current state of, the disunity that's at the head of the club, and it's a tough one to see. It's going to be a tough game. So,
but what you got to look at, as I was saying to you before, if you look at that, that's what we got to look at, right? We've drawn, lost, won, lost. Look at theirs. Won, lost. So they, going into this game, them 2 stats that I've just given you about the head-to-head and previous meetings, if you then bring this up, last 5 games, for me, they're favourites because they've only lost 1 in 5.
Of course they're favourites.
Yeah.
100%. Sorry. So
No.
for me, it's a given that they are favourites for this game tomorrow. Slight favourites. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be a massive, like, oh yeah, your banker. It's not a banker by any means. But they are they've won 4 games. They've only narrowly lost against a team who are flying.
Exactly.
Remember, Newcastle are fucking flying. They ain't lost in X amount of games because that record of the 3 draws, if you go back further, they'd won, I think, 6 on the trot or something like that, or whatever it was. So
Newcastle are unbeaten for 15 games.
So bloody hell, that should tell us a lot about Fulham. Marco Silva's the one I'm scared of because he can go into that dressing room tomorrow and say to his players, listen, we win tomorrow, we go above Spurs and we're probably going to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Look at our form going into this game, lads. We've only dropped points in the last 5 to a Newcastle team that haven't lost in 50. My motivational talk will be superb tomorrow because it's not really a problem to get players motivated if you're confident knowing the other team isn't. We're just going to have to hope we can ride this roller coaster tomorrow because it's going to be a tough effing game.
And then you end that conversation by saying, oh, by the way, guys, it's only Tottenham. Like they would. Right, I've got 2 more segments, but before we go into that, just want to welcome everyone that's joined us. Please make sure you smash that like button. Juice Nuts, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Sid. Again, Juice Nuts is saying here, Tottenham's current state is like a car crash in slow motion. We've got, I think, Wu Tang Gambino. Good afternoon. Afternoon, lads. Tottenham Hotspur, what a football club. Never a dull moment supporting Spurs. Jews again, there doesn't seem to be any leaders in the squad who other players can feed off. That is correct. I don't think they'd be feeding any chicken feed as well if you give that to them. Road to Noah, good afternoon. Romero as captain?
Not for me.
No, not either.
He needs better command of English.
Yeah.
He needs a player that needs to be controlled as well. You need someone who can control him. He's too rash.
Yes, I agree. Kevin Murray, afternoon, lads. Afternoon, Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
Lloyd Hughes is saying, I always think the captain should be an outfield player. Well, yeah, Hugo's not an outfield player, is he really? No. Yeah, anything at the moment. But I agree. It's got to be a midfielder or a defender. Jews again, EPL winners over the years usually have captains from midfield or central defence. Can't recall a champion with a goalkeeper as captain. Dino Zoff, I can think of. I can't even think of anyone else. Can you guys think of a goalkeeping captain?
Was Van der Sar captain at Man United for a little while?
No, Van der Sar wasn't captain.
What about, what's his name? The other one, the French one. He was Barthez? Was it
Barthez? No, he wasn't.
Nah. They've had captains, proper captains.
Schmeichel? Was he captain? No, well, obviously the Keane days and all them lots of names.
Exactly. So
I just think, do you see what I'm saying? When I mention those keepers,
yes, you
think they're captains because of their command in the box, their command of their goal. And I thought they're captains and they weren't. No. This is the whole difference. You can't make a keeper, our keeper, who I watched some of the compilation. It was sad to actually watch the compilation of him. I don't know if you guys have seen it, of the mistakes over recent years of him, not just for Spurs but for France as well. Or obviously, it just made me think. Yeah, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
It's a big problem. That's it, and one that needs to be rectified and one that needs to be sorted. Road to Norway, good afternoon. Conte is fed up with his board. I think everybody's fed up. Jews again, we can still salvage this season, maybe 4th if we turn the stats ASAP. Correct. We've said that. I'm not going to read his next one because I'm going to say it, but Carlos Vinicius, he's going to score and do that weird celebration. The problem with that one is if Mitrovic is fit and ready, then
Vinicius will be on the bench if Mitrovic is available.
Yeah. Few more points we avoid relegation. Few, Daryl Denson.
5 points to avoid relegation.
Kevin Murray.
That's funny. That is good though.
Is there any manager out there that can change the mindset of a boardroom plus then go to the dressing room and pick a team up that's on the floor? That's the same job. Sophie Elix Baxter, she could pick up people off the dance floor.
The only way you get we've got the wrong type of manager in. Yeah. If you're going to get somebody in now who could do a certain amount of success with us, is someone who's going to be able to coach the players that he's got and make them at least playing in different ways to be able to give them confidence. And you need someone like, I hate to say it, someone like an Eddie Howe, because he hasn't got that much at Newcastle. He's got players in, but I just think he's a nice man, isn't he? He seems like a nice man. And when he had that little spat with Arteta, it's like, Eddie Howe, what's going on here? Out of character. He knows his job, he knows his limitations, and he can get players to be happy in this run. The biggest thing in football is not about the players that are playing. If you can manage and get the players who are not playing to be confident, that's where your job is. Conte don't do that. Conte does not do that.
I mean, the other thing about Eddie Howe is, which I've got to give him credit for, is he's been a bit innovative this year. He's playing a back four, but he's actually playing 3 central defenders.
Yeah.
So he's got Burns playing at left back, which gives Trippier, all the license to get forward.
Correct.
And it's like Arsenal in reverse. They've got Ben White as a centre back, but playing at right back.
Yeah.
So it gives the left hand side, and that's what Arsenal were doing to us all last week, was moving up the left hand side, switching it to Saka, and then he was up against a player who's dead. So
Colin Lumsden. We lose players from the academy like Edwards and Maduaka because of hearsay about attitude problems, and then, like Juice is saying, then Chelsea go and buy one of our players. What the beep? Well, there you go. And we was linked to him again, but I don't know what's happened in the background. He's decided to go Chelsea, and now he's saying there's only one club in London, Chelsea. So again, he must be pissed off. Hello, David from Leicester. 6 finals, 8 semi-finals under ENIC. Won 1 final and lost 8 semi-finals. So the club are bottlers in massive games. Just thought I'd cheer you up. Thanks, David, for that. We really needed cheering up, but
thank you, David.
Facts are facts, as they say.
It's facts, my friend.
That's
that
it.
has nothing to do with the board. When people show me that sort of stuff, that's nothing to do with the board. That's mentality. So maybe it's got something to do with the board because we haven't got the players in who are mentally tough enough to do that. But that's nothing to do. On a day of a final, anybody can win a game.
Exactly. It's who turns up. And as long as you don't sack your manager a day before the final, then you've got a good chance of winning. Daryl Denton, forget that stats. Trust your eyes. Weren't we City's bogey team? We was, but we're not anymore. David Holt, we're on a low. Can't see us winning. And then people are going on to Juice Nuts is saying, beautifully said, Sam, about the managers. There we go. Right. So we like this bit. 2 more bits to the show. First one, potential lineup. Now, I think this is how they're going to line up. Please correct me. Please tell me adjustments can be made. But I think tomorrow he's going to go with Hugo in goal, because he's not going to drop him. Romero, Dyer, and Davis, with Emerson and Perisic as your wing backs, with Bentancur, Højbjerg, and then Richarlison, Kane, and Kulu. Yes, I have dropped Son because he needs to be dropped. His form has been wayward off all season, and I think a stint on the bench will do him good, because Sam and Sean, we've discussed this. Son starts, he never gets substituted. However, if you drop him, he can come off the bench. That's the only way I think we can try and salvage him, by dropping him, giving him a little bit time on the bench. Agree or disagree with this team formation? Start with you, Sean.
Well, it's the formation that will be playing tomorrow night, definitely.
Yep.
But I
would you change?
I don't know. I mean, I would change. Yeah, I would say that we need to withdraw Hugo from the firing line, because he's clearly in a funk, Agree. My concern, I mean, is Conte thinking Sessegnon up against his old club. Maybe that will kickstart him and he'll play him. I would go with your front 3, definitely.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, did Royale cover himself in any glory in the second half against City?
Did anyone?
No, but I mean, it's exactly that. But
Yeah.
was he as did all the goals come from down that side, for example? I don't know, because I haven't seen and I didn't watch. So certainly it'll be the formation he picks, unless there's an injury. I can't imagine there being any change to that.
Yeah. Sam? Go on, Sean.
I just, it's horses for courses, isn't it? I don't know what Conte's going to do, other than it'll be 3-4-3.
Because he's not going to drop Lloris. I know we all want him dropped, blah blah blah, but I just don't see him dropping Lloris, and that's the reason why I put him in goal, because
I think he has to drop somebody. I think one of those two, Son or Lloris, has to be dropped tomorrow. One of them two has to be. It'd be bad, in my opinion, it'd be bad management or stubbornness, or just a way of saying two fingers up at everybody. I don't care, because you on form, our goalkeeper's not been good, and Son has definitely not been good most of the season. And they are two key players in two key positions. Son, obviously, from an assist and goal scoring perspective, and Lloris from a goal stopping perspective.
Yep.
And as Sean mentioned earlier, our goals are now below 2. That's for a reason. We're not scoring goals other than Kane. And our goals are going up. And that's for a reason, because all the mistakes we made lead to goals, and that's coming from the keeper and confidence in the back line. I think this will be probably the lineup that goes. I would hope that Conte could play a tactical flexibility in this. And what I'm saying by that, Kulusevski could play just in behind, and you could have the rotation of Harry Kane and Richarlison as a front two, or Richarlison could do that. That front three can't just play as a front three close together. They have to rotate into that midfield. We usually see Harry Kane do that, but in my opinion, Harry Kane's got to be our number 9 tomorrow, because we're going to need him, because he's our only goal scorer. I don't want to see him going into midfield setting up everybody else, because nobody else is scoring. Yeah. Play your number 9. Make almost like a 1-1. Kulusevski just in behind. You can always go back into this shape with the personnel, but we got to stop them going through the middle of our pitch. It's obvious what he's a good fucking coach. I'm telling people now, he's a good coach, and he will know exactly what he's going to do. And if Conte plays stubborn, we'll get beat tomorrow. If he doesn't play stubborn and he allows these players to be flexible in how they approach the game with his tactics, we can get a result. But I'm concerned that too many players are off form will play, and we're going to make the same mistakes. And if we're not, I don't know, man. I'm ranting now. Sorry.
I was actually thinking, right, and Colin has also mentioned this, right, down the left. And Sean, it was down the left that we conceded our goals last week. Perisic was at fault for 2. I was even contemplating, right, and just hear me out on this one, because he's done it before. Perisic is, and I've said it all season, he's not a Prem player. He's not up to the standards to play in the Prem. I think, and we had this discussion the other day, he wanted to play in the World Cup. He came over, free hit. Conte loved him, played him, blah, blah, blah. Got to the World Cup. And now he's just going through the formalities. Sessegnon is absolute hit and miss, depending on what mood he's in or what mood Conte's in. He'll perform, he might not. He'll play 10 minutes. I was thinking he might even decide to gamble, like he's done a few times, and put Doherty as left wing back instead of them two. Do you think that could be an option?
Yeah, I believe that could be an option.
Because Doherty's done a job for him at left wing back when he's asked him to do it. And me personally, I know a couple of people, maybe a lot of you might say, no. But I think he could do a better job than Perisic and Sessegnon at left wing back in this current situation.
You know what I could say? Sorry, Sean, if you're going to say so. To be fair to Perisic, he's got it in him to play at that level. I saw it for him when he played for Croatia. I don't know what his motivation is for being at Spurs. It must be money, because it wasn't a case of I'm going to go. It wasn't that. I know that now, because I saw what he did for Croatia, and I see his motivation for playing for them. But what about playing him further up and possibly playing Sessegnon as a left back and dropping Son for the game, and maybe keeping Son and Richarlison on the bench? The reason I say that is because we've got to have people off the bench to be able to change the game. We've got too many defenders on the bench, people who can't change the game. We ain't got any strikers on the bench. You don't seem to trust Gill, even though Gill's said, listen, put himself in the shop window. He ain't trusting him enough to play him. So what have we got on the bench? So if you've got Richarlison and Son, at least from a Fulham perspective, they think, bloody hell, even if they know that Richarlison and Son are not on the best of form, it's Richarlison and Son on the bench, not bloody Gill and not bloody Spence, who's never coming on, and not Skip, Bissouma. None of them players are changing the game for us at the moment.
Agree. Sean, was you going to say something?
No. To be honest, I'll wait until 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Wait till 7 tomorrow, mate.
Wait till 7 o'clock and I'll see. And like when they announced that Sessegnon was playing against Arsenal, I knew the game was over.
Yeah. This is.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm not down on Ryan, but the injuries have caught up with him. Yeah. He's not the same player that we bought all that time. Well, he is the same player because he's injured. He's injured in his head now.
I was going to say something. Sure, sorry. I think we have to do 2 predictions, one before the game and one here, because I never want Spurs to lose. That's an obvious thing.
100%.
So I look at how
100%,
I think. I look at the thing of how I would set the team up to get a result tomorrow.
Yes,
that's going to be different to what he's going to do tomorrow.
100%.
I wouldn't do anything what Conte is going to do tomorrow because I know what he's going to do. The result I want us to do is based on how I see the players playing. If I was to say to them, "This is what I want out of you,"
yeah.
But Conte might. Then you said the team sheet might be, "Oh yeah, we still see the same 11." Then I'll probably say we ain't going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Right, let's have a look at a few what people are saying. Kevin Murray saying, "Right, Sean, every play went through Saka and we couldn't see it." Lloyd Hughes is saying Conte will play Son. Daryl Denton saying here, Loris Son out, but as Conte got the Kajunas, doubt it. Correct. Juicy saying the formation looks about right. I would replace Saar for Højbjerg. Is that a good shot? Saar for Højbjerg?
Well, I have to say Højbjerg has not been the same player since he's come back from the World Cup.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I would, again, those are the sort of changes. Why can't you? The guys did, if you threw him in at a North London derby, surely away to Fulham, you can play him then. Do you know what I mean?
Agree.
At least see him.
Agree.
These are the things that don't make sense to me. We'll probably see Højbjerg and Benzema play tomorrow.
Yeah. Dave Clark, I'd rather see Whiteman in goal than Loris. Kevin Murray, if he plays Son, I give up. David Clark, Fulham are going to have a field day at set pieces. Jews Nuts is saying, good shout, Doherty on the left. David Clark, why not treat it as a charity game and draw draws to see who plays where it's laughable, fellas? Lloyd Hughes is saying, really good point, Sam.
Bad,
and Juice saying Sean wants Son to play, I think, based on last.
I think he's having a laugh, Juice.
Right.
Oh, jeez. Sean's not happy. Sean's not happy.
He's not.
Based on the last stream, I've been calling for Son to be hooked for weeks.
And that's what I'm thinking. I heard you say. I heard that as well. So I don't know.
Right. So
they're calling me a clown for that. It seems like he wants him to play.
You wasn't on the last stream anyway.
Yeah, so exactly. Come on, move on, man.
Right. So
Jeez.
I've done players. Right. Before I show you my players to watch, but you probably sneaked it anyway. Starting with you, Sam. Who's your players to watch tomorrow? One from each team.
Do you want me to? To be perfectly honest, I think it's the managers. Who's the managers to watch? And Marco Silva's for me has got to be watched because I think he'll set up in a way that we probably won't. He won't set up how we think he's going to be. Just play a 4-4-2. I think it will be a tactical variation in there to be able to get the result tomorrow. So that's my one to watch. Is him.
Yeah. Sean.
I want to see a Mitrovic because I think he's been a revelation this season in terms of Premier League form.
Yeah.
He didn't sort of pull up any treats last time he was in Premier League, but he's been playing really well. I mean, I've seen enough of our players. I don't want to see certain players playing, including our Korean number 7. Sorry.
Right. Fine. I'll show you my two, and I'll give you my reasons. The two I've gone for is Mitrovic, like you said, Sean, because I was last season when he scored. He's just one of them unpredictable players, and if he's on form, he can cause us a lot of problems in the air, on the field as well. And Hugo Lloris again for me, not for the right reasons. The reasons is I want to see him give a performance to say, you know what, guys, I am a good keeper. I can keep clean sheets. I can make a save. Blah blah blah. So it's a massive game for him tomorrow in terms of confidence, showing the fans, everyone, that he's still a keeper. Because as it stands now, there's
just want to say something at that point.
Oh.
He could have a game tomorrow where he makes a couple of decent saves and we kind of not brush over, but it's like it won't give the full picture, because he could have a good game tomorrow and he probably has to have a good game, but that doesn't give me the long-term confidence that he's going to be able to maintain that level, because he's got up and down. Your goalkeeper has to be pretty much stable throughout the season. Yes, there might be an error, a rick or two here or there, but he's got fundamental flaws, and that's the bigger problem for me. Fundamental flaws are difficult to overcome, particularly when you're not confident. And he doesn't play well with his feet. He doesn't play well off his right foot. His distribution, as we know, is not great, and he's not great at crossing, taking crosses out of the air. He flaps at things. All those are fundamental flaws, man. So he could have a great game and make great saves. Oh, tipped over the bar. Fabulous. Let's see what he does time and time after that.
This is it. And that's it. That's what, that's what we need to expect from him. Like Pickford yesterday, look at Pope yesterday, did absolutely nothing, and then he pulled out that save that potentially.
One save.
Yeah.
You don't do anything for 90 minutes and you're thinking you've got to be switched on for every part of that 90 minutes. One save is all you want now, keep it to make.
Exactly, because one save it only takes. Right. Our favorite Mancunian or Monday Juma, press up the like button, guys.
Cheers on Monday, Mr. O.
Yeah, Mitrovic is a handful, and then some Bentancur is our talisman. Afternoon panel, tough task tomorrow. Will the real mighty Spurs please stand up? Even Eminem's asking the Spurs to stand up as well, but it's not going to happen. David Clark, the player to watch. Forster on the bench, getting ready to come on.
David Clark's been on the sherry.
David's the best, man. His one-liners recently have been quality.
Absolutely. Right. It's coming to the end of the show, end of the road. Till I can't say no, because I belong to you. You belong to me. Go. Anyway, predictions for tomorrow, guys. Starting with you, Sean.
2-2.
2-2. And the goal scorers?
I'm going Bentancur and Kulusevski.
Okay. And yourself, Mr. Spurs for life?
How do I do this? As I said, I think we have to do 2. I'm basing it on how I think the players should be motivated and who I would start based on what I think. And I think we could win tomorrow because of the record and because of the fact that, we have got a difference maker in Kane. If Kulusevski turns up and Kane turn up tomorrow, we could get goals out of it. I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I just don't think we can keep a clean sheet, but I'm going with a Kulusevski and Kane.
Cool. Roy Juicy saying 1-1. And I am saying what you've just said, Sam. I agree with exactly what you said. And I think Spurs will win 1-2. I think Mitrovic will score for them. And I think for us, it'll be Kane and Kulu as well. I think Kane's getting closer to that record, and I think he's going to equal it tomorrow. I don't think he'll beat it, but I think he'll equal it tomorrow. So 2-1 for me. So it's 2-1 for me, 2-1 from Sam to Spurs, and Sean is saying Desmond 2-2, correct?
Yep.
Who's your goal scorer, Sean?
I said Bentancur and Kulusevski.
Bentancur. Yeah, it's a good shot, actually.
It is.
I'm staying with Kane because Kane's the only fucking person that scores at the moment.
And David's lost the plot now. Fulham 4, Tottenham 6, Kane 2, Kulu 2, Bentancur 1, on goal. Fulham will score.
I'd love that.
He's made me cough. That's wrong. That's David, man. You gotta get off that sherry. Oh no, sorry, you stay on that sherry because you're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Kevin
That's
Murray.
the score I would like tomorrow.
Yeah,
Kevin Murray.
No
yeah,
chance.
1-0 to Spurs.
No.
Guys, just a big shout out to everyone that's joining us, and Jews Nuts, David Clark, Kevin Murray, everyone like that. Please, if you're interested in coming on our preview show or our reaction show, just drop us a a message, and what we'll do is we'll get you on. Some of you might not want to come on and show your face, but you can still come on talk. You don't need to show your face. But if you're really interested in coming on, we're always, looking for more people to come on and give their opinions, their views as well. So give us a shout on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and we'll get you guys on. Or
You
even if you're on here,
just need a phone and some headphones.
that's needed. Phones, headphones, and then we'll send
And
you the link.
A good stream. If you can get a good quality stream, as in your service provider, it's better.
Yeah. And everyone has an opinion, and we take everyone's opinion because, as Bob Hoskins says, it's good to talk. It's good to talk. And we will
add on to that as well. Add on to just with regards to people coming on. I think we'll also do for a reaction show. We might put the actual StreamYard link in there, and if people want to come on there, you'll be in the background, and we can probably bring one or two on. Bring one on and take one off. So if you don't mind waiting in the queue, if there is a queue, we might not get anybody come on. But I hope at least some of our regular.
Yeah, we win 6-0 and everyone will be down a pub.
And I guarantee you, when you do come on, you will not hear, please wait. Your call is important to us. We are trying to connect you. You are next in the queue.
But we would also add the usual things apply. No silliness, no abusive language, none of those stuff. I know we say the old effing and blinded, but the world we live in now, we just got to try and be as cautious as we can where we can. That's it.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sean, for coming on and giving us your preview of the show. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Thanks for your comments as well. Please smash that like button. Follow at Paxton Road TV. And as always, we'll bring plenty of contents to you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.